So I think today we'll talk a little bit about really kind of how I lucked into the KLR, and the more and more that I've had it and I've had an opportunity to use it, I'm really thinking that this thing does a really good job of suiting my needs. You know, there are a million KLR videos out there about the KLR. You know, it can do everything, but it is not good at anything. And you know, the one thing that this thing absolutely does phenomenally that nobody talks about is it's just an absolute blaster ride. I mean, the riding that I've done on-road and off-road, I love each and every minute of it. You know, again, I'm not doing dirt bike trails, like dedicated hardcore dirt bike trails. I'm not a knee dragger on the pavement. I'm not a track guy. You know, again, I'm more of these dirt roads to get out. You know, a little bit of some off-road challenge stuff. You know, a little bit of OHV trails, 2-track, and a little bit of easy single track. And the KLR, for that purpose, is absolutely perfect for me. I just love each and every minute that I'm riding this thing. And even the on-road stuff too. I've got a couple of videos where it was just all, you know, 30, 40, 50 miles just riding on the road. It's just an absolute hoot. You know, like I said, I've got the Dunlop D606s on here. I was really curious how those were going to do on road, and for me, riding within my riding ability, they're absolutely perfect. I don't have any hesitation at all to push these things to my riding ability. Yeah, again, to go back and get a little bit of the backstory. You know, I purchased this bike thinking it was a lot more dirt bike than it is. You know, due to my ignorance at the time, and really just seeing the really knobby aggressive tires on it, I thought it was just kind of a big dirt bike. And after talking to a buddy of mine that's into the dirt bike and stuff, you know, I knew that I wanted a little bit bigger of a bike. I knew I wanted at least like a 400 or a 450. You know, the KLR being a 650, I'm like, hey, that's perfect. And I knew I wanted a dual sport. I wanted to be able to ride it on the roads, you know, legally. And that was it. So, and I wanted it to be cheap. I am a pretty thrifty individual, so, and it checked all those boxes. Had I known then what I know now, I may have leaned a little more towards like a DRZ 400 or a CRF 450. The one big thing that I noticed on those guys is that let's see which way we're going. Okay, yeah, we're going straight. Cool. The one thing I noticed with the CRFs and the DRZs and things kind of in that blowed line, KTMs and all that fun stuff, price point was a little bit higher. And fortunately, after the research that I've done after the fact, because again, you know, you do your research after you make the purchase, right? Yeah, research has showed that, you know, some of those things can be a little bit more maintenance intensive, which you know, isn't a deal breaker for me. But after all the research I've done and my experience so far and the reliability of the KLR, you know, as long as you put a skid plate on it or don't accidentally smack the oil drain plug out of the case like I did, yeah, reliability is fantastic. You know, I much prefer to enjoy what I'm using than to wrench on it. And I do enjoy wrenching from time to time, but that ratio has to be right if you see where I'm going with that. So KLR for me, great fit so far. After my first couple outings doing some slightly more difficult off-road stuff, and it being you know, coming to the realization that it is not a dirt bike and that stuff is going to be difficult on the KLR, and coming into the realization that, you know, I personally really need to improve my abilities off-road to get to where I would like to be with those kinds of trails in this bike. You know, there's a little bit of an investment on my end in developing that, which, you know, there's going to be an investment in developing the skills on any platform out there. But I think a little bit more so on the KLR, just because it is such a bigger, heavier bike, and you know, again, not exactly made for that. But yeah, aside from that unexpected investment of me in developing my abilities, I just absolutely love this thing. Top 5 purchases of my life ever. So yeah, I'll kind of go through and talk about all the boxes that for me the KLR has checked, and you know, if you're in kind of a similar situation as me, would absolutely recommend the KLR. Let's see what we got up here. Doing stuff like this, yeah, that checks a box. That absolutely checks a box. So for me, when I finally made the decision that I wanted a dirt bike, and again, I'll use that term loosely because this is absolutely not a dedicated dirt bike. But so yeah, I wanted a dirt bike, and what I wanted it for was to come out to places like this. I have a pickup truck. I typically, you know, 4-wheel drive pickup truck, and I typically come out to places like this, and I'll take the truck because it's got all the room in the world for all my camping gear and 4-wheel drive and all that fun stuff, so I can get to places that I want to go. But when I'm there, it's a 3/4 ton truck, so it's a bit of a thing, and not the greatest on like roads like this. I'd be doing, so I'm doing 25, 30 right now. I'd be doing like 10 miles an hour on the truck, if that. Yeah, so I wanted a bike to come out here and just kind of, you know, explore these forest roads, and along with that, do some dedicated OHV type trails. Like I said, some single track and 2-track, and you know, a little bit more worn roads with, you know, some ruts and some steep uphills and downhills and rocks and things like that. So that's kind of the capability that I was looking for. And again, the dual sport. Especially out here in Arizona, there's a lot of OHV tags and permits and this, that, and the other. And if you have a plated motorcycle, dual sport or otherwise, you avoid all that. You should just go right to, you plate the thing, you register it, you insure it, and you can take it anywhere you want to. And I may be incorrect in that, and if I am, please let me know. But yeah, from everything I've researched, you got a dual sport, it's plated, registered, insured, you're fair game anywhere that OHV and street legal vehicles are allowed to go. And you know, again, the last part of the dual sport was obviously the ability to ride it on road. And I don't have a whole lot of desire to do, you know, the adventure thing where you're riding on asphalt for however many hundreds of miles or whatever you want to do. But I did want to have the ability to, you know, if I'm out cruising around and I pop out on a dirt road and I run into some asphalt, I just wanted to be able to have the capability and you know, the legality of having the correct vehicle to be able to do that. So yeah, KLR as a dual sport bike, just perfect for what I need to do. Yeah, I think we'll do a little bit more riding here. Let you guys enjoy these. I mean, just look at that. Just absolutely amazing, beautiful views out here. And it just does not get any better than this. So anyway, I think I'll get back to a little bit more riding and catch up with you guys on the next one. I hope you enjoyed the ride.